What's good, y'all? What is good? What is good? What is good? I'm in a good mood today, y'all. This is King Jew here, and today we got a topic that is near and dear to my heart. Today, for episode 11, we are going to be talking about Cartoon Chronicles, right there at the bottom, right there. I know you see it. Hopefully, you see it. If not, hey, we'll make it work. In any case, y'all, like I said, we're going to be talking about some of our old childhood cartoons from the 90s, the 2000s, and for my younger generations, I guess the 2010s, maybe, probably not though. If you want to talk about 2010s, y'all going to catch me on the next another episode. But with all that being said, sit back, grab a snack, and let's take a trip back to when cartoons Saturday mornings was absolutely stacked. Let's get this shit going. So first, I'm gonna start with a banger right here. I'm gonna start with my Mount Rushmore of Cartoon Network cartoons. I don't know if y'all remember, I did a Mount Rushmore episode back then. We're going to incorporate a little bit of that into this one. So I'm going to tell y'all my 4 favorite cartoons of all time. And feel free to chime in the comment section in the chat. This is live on Twitch, by the way. Feel free to chime in. Let's get interactive. Let's talk on my 90s babies. Let's do it. So first up on the list is, nah, y'all might be expecting that one. I'm gonna start with Dexter's Laboratory. I'm gonna get to the good shit after this. Dexter's Laboratory, or if you ask him, Dexter's Laboratory, debuted in I want to say 1999. Now, this was the adventures of, you got the little short boy Dexter, you got Dee Dee, his fucking horrible badass sister, you got the dad, you got the fine ass mama, and then also you have Mandark, the rival with the oval head. Was it an oval? Whatever. That motherfucker had a weird ass head. You got Mandark, and on a side note, you got Monkey. So I don't know if y'all remember, but Dexter was probably it was a pioneer. It was ahead of its time. I mean, hell, the episodes were hilarious. I can't think of one that I didn't really care for. But at the same time, I will say this: when Dexter did the rebrand, not I guess you could say the rebranding, when they had the different art styles. I didn't really care for those episodes too much. I mean, they were straight, but I mean, hell, nothing beats the original that started in 1999, in my personal opinion. I remember this one episode where Dexter learned a French word, omelette du fromage. If I'm not mistaken, in English, the shit meant cheese omelet, but for some odd ass reason, he just used it and made it a part of his everyday life. Like every answer was omelette du fromage, and this motherfucker was getting hoes like that, like he was getting bitches. I'm like, what in the fuck? So you telling me all it takes is a word to have all the bitches on your dick? Like, come on now, that shit was crazy. But then it got to a point where he just kept saying it over and over and over again to where he wasn't even realizing what the fuck was going on in his lab with Dee Dee. She pressed some self-destruct button or some shit, and the shit blows up. And all of a sudden, he just stuck there. Like, he can't do shit else. That was a crazy ass episode. On the flip side, though, one of the episodes that I didn't care for, this was towards when they transitioned to the new art style. It was just, I guess, a short where the dad, Edie, and Dexter were at the golf course. And the episode itself, it was a solid maybe 3 to 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes max. And it was just nothing of him getting ready to tee off, like, checking the grip on his club, checking his footings, yada, yada, yada. And by the time he actually winds up the swing, fucking thunderstorm starts. And then that's it. Don't get me wrong. When I was a kid back then, it was a funny episode, but looking back at it now, it probably wasn't the best. However, that does not take away from everything that show did from the 90s, really until it stopped playing. I think it stopped in 2003. I could be wrong, but I know it didn't last that long. Moving on, though, my next Cartoon Network show on my Mount Rushmore, we're going to go with the Powerpuff Girls. Blossom, Bubbles, Buttercup. Man, when you talk about crazy nonstop action, let me see. They also had the Professor. I'm trying to think of some recurring characters. The Professor, obviously, other than the girls. We had the Rowdy Rough Boys at one point. They were like their rivals or whatever. Mojo Jojo was the villain. They used to crack his skull any chance they got. Man, there was one. Oh, the kindergarten teacher, Miss Jean, I think the bitch name was. I think it was Miss Jean. She was cool too. One of my favorite episodes of that one. I have a couple of them actually. I'm gonna touch on a few of them. One of my favorite episodes was when I think it was Blossom. Yeah, she got into this thief habit to where she was just stealing shit. I think it started at the toy store or something like that. and then it just kept going and just kept going and going and going. And then when she finally got caught, she tried to steal some golf clubs for the professor, but she ended up getting caught and got arrested. So my naive ass, and mind you, this is the 90s and early 2000s. I was born in 1994. So I wasn't no more than probably about 6 years old at the time. I'm thinking to myself, oh shit, did Blossom actually finally get caught? Are the girls actually not gonna win this time? Like I was out fucking done. But looking back at it, that she deserved it. I'm sorry, she did. Like nobody, you got these powers. Y'all literally saved the town every episode. The fact that the mayor isn't just gifting you this shit, and yeah, the mayor is another one too. The fact that the mayor isn't just gifting you this shit was kind of concerning in my opinion. And then he had his assistant, I forgot what that lady name was. She was tall and her face was never shown in this cartoon. I forgot what her name was, but in any case, let me see. Make sure I'm okay. Yeah, so we had them. And then there was another one. I think it was the very first episode. They got turned into dogs. And Buttercup ended up being this fucking butch type of dog. It was crazy. It was just fucking insane. That was one of my all time favorite shows, man. I ain't gonna lie. Next up, Courage the Cowardly Dog. That's probably one of the scariest yet funniest shows that I've probably seen. There was a couple of, I want to say creepy pastas or like what you call it. I know there was one creepy pasta in particular where on Watch Mojo, matter of fact, where they were like everything that happens in that episode isn't really happening because it's happening through the lens of a dog who doesn't really get out at all. So the things that happen, like the scary artifacts and the supernatural beings and shit like that, is over exaggerated because I guess through the lens of a canine, shit is over exaggerated. Maybe I don't know. That's just what I heard. But return the motherfucking slab, Eustace. I don't know why you didn't do it when the dude told you return that slab. He was not joking around with your ass. You weren't about to offer. You about to get your shit knocked out because you decide to be a thief and not return whatever slab you took. Like if a natural super being coming at you, telling you repeatedly, return the slab in that scary ass voice, motherfucker, look, you ain't got to tell me twice. Look, take your shit, just get the fuck. I don't need no offer. Just take your shit. You letting me live in my house is good enough. Let me see. There's some other episodes that I can think of too. Oh man, the one where I think there was that fortune teller lady or whatever her name was. And Courage and her was trying to get Eustace to kind of control his anger because for some reason, like Eustace was always a grumpy old motherfucker. He was always bitter. But for some reason, his anger was just on another level. And they were trying to do his best. They were trying to do their best to just calm him down because it's like, bro, you're like, we're used to you, being grumpy, but now you're just taking it too far. And that's kind of where that was. So they was trying to do what they can do to kind of stop that. But I mean, eventually it worked out because it's a cartoon. Everything tends to work out at the end. Yeah, that shit was crazy. Like I think he started blowing the fuse when he's I think Muriel wanted him to knit something. Yeah, Muriel wanted him to knit something. Couldn't do that. Then he hit his hand on something trying to fix the chair, blew a gasket like that. And there was something else he did too. I don't exactly remember, but I know it was something else. But in any case, let me see if I can think of any other episodes. Man, there's so many good ones from Courage. I know of course, there was the one that showed Courage's backstory, which I'm gonna get into that too. Uh, damn, there's so many good episodes. It's hard to pinpoint because these are shows I've grown up with, so I watched them all, and there is no one favorite episode because it's all just golden to me. But I'm not gonna spend too much time thinking about that. I'm gonna move on to my last cartoon that I feel should be actually at the tippity top of Mount Rushmore. If there's a top that's above that top, should be at that top because this cartoon is in a tier of its own. And if you know me, you know where I'm going with this. So my last cartoon is dedicated to the three stooges that live in the cul-de-sac. What cul-de-sac? I have no fucking clue because I don't think it's ever been named until they got to what was it, season 5 or something, when they started calling it Peach Creek. But before that, we didn't know what the hell it was. All we knew it was the cul-de-sac and it was the lane. I'm talking about Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Man, round of applause for Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Round of applause for Danny Antonucci. My dude, you deserve your flowers and then some. If you have not been told that, you deserve your flowers and then some. Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Man, when I tell y'all, the very first episode, the Miss Ed Ventures, when shit started coming up missing and it got to a point, Sarah's doll was missing. If that's the first episode, I believe that is. But yeah, it got to the point where Sarah's doll went missing. A couple of these magnifying glass went missing, and some other stuff. I believe. Did they ever figure out who stole that shit? I know they said it was Johnny, but I know when Sarah had him in the tie, she was like, "Oh, we know you didn't do it, Johnny." I don't know. I say the motherfucker did do it. And we just gonna leave it at that. Jay did it. Or we gonna say JT by four or J2 by four did it. That's what we gonna say. I wanna say my favorite episode of Ed, Ed and Eddie, man, this is gonna be even harder to pinpoint because this is, man, we talk about like all-time favorite shows. This is my all-time favorite cartoon. Literally my all-time favorite cartoon. But if I had to choose one, it would probably be when Ed, Ed and Eddie started that fake ass business where everything was up. Like no downs, just straight up. Everything just up. What was up? I don't fucking know what's up. As long as it was up. But what the craziest part about that episode, the whole time that they just talking, Ed is over here building a whole fucking elevator out of God knows what. It started at just a normal elevator, which didn't really lead anywhere, so it was kind of funny and made no sense. But hell, Ed and Eddie does not make sense, and that's why it's so goddamn good. Then he just started stacking shit on top. He brought in a canoe. I'm pretty sure I saw a refrigerator over there, some kind of way, some sort of appliance as well. And he just started stacking shit, like just higher and higher and higher until they got all the way to the moon, like the moon of all places, with no way down. And then they got stuck on the moon. But then what's crazy is they walked on the moon, right? I think Ed walked on the moon first. Then once they all got there, it was too much weight for a planet. What do we call the moon? A star, a planet, whatever. A big ass crater of land, which I thought didn't make any sense either because how the hell could the weight of three boys be enough to knock the moon over? And not only knock the moon over, knock it over to the point where it knocks over your makeshift elevator. So now you have nowhere to go. If you fall, well, I'm not even gonna say that because I'm not even gonna say that because this show is fucking insane. In real life, if you fall from that distance, you're gonna die. But in Eddie and Eddie terms, hell, even going back to the episode where Eddie had those boots that if you know the electronic boots that made him taller, it got to the point where he was so high he was literally out of the atmosphere of the earth, and for some reason they was able to keep their balance. I don't know how the hell he was able to keep his balance like that. That shit was insane. And then they fell, and then that was it. Only in Eddie and Eddie can you fall from that great of a height and not die. That is fucking crazy. Man, that'd be something we need today. We can just walk right up in heaven and see a loved one. I agree with you on that, but we're gonna keep this positive. We ain't talking about nothing negative today. We having a good day today. I agree with you though. Sammy, I agree with you. She said that'd be something we need today. We can just walk right up in heaven and see a loved one. I agree with that. I definitely do. However, let's keep it positive today. No sad talk today. We having a good day today. Let's talk about let's reminisce about the past. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, that's my two favorite episodes. Shit, I can't even say two favorite because I got so many of them. It's like that with all these shows, though, man. To be honest with y'all, but I'm not gonna take up too much time with the Mount Rushmore, so I'm gonna move on to something else. Let's talk about a couple of villains for a second. We got obviously in these shows, we got Man Dark, of course. I guess you can say Man Dark. Hell, Courage, you can't even pinpoint one villain because there's a villain in every goddamn episode. Mojo Jojo for Powerpuff Girls, and in Ed and Eddie, there aren't really any villains per se. But if I had to choose one, it would be between. Well, you know what? It would be that little bitch Sarah. I could not stand that little girl. Oh my god, she was just there just to like her presence pisses me off because how dare you act like that to your big brother? Like I get it, the motherfucker's dumb, but you are one of the most ungrateful people in the world. You yell all the time. You always fighting somebody. Jimmy's your only goddamn friend, if we're being honest. I mean, hell, I guess you can say all of the kids are friends because she doesn't act that way with all of the kids. Well, no, I take that back. Yes, the fuck she does. It's just not as bad as she acts with Ed, Ed and Eddie. But you could make an argument for Kevin. I don't think Kevin is really a villain. No, I think he's more just a jock. Sarah, on the other hand, no, hell no. Her voice is enough for me to call her a villain. The best out of all four of those, though, I would probably have to say Mojo Jojo because regardless of how much he get his wig split from the girls, like he's persistent as fuck. That dude will not give up on his world domination plans or whatever he got going on. But at the same time, getting beat up that many times, salute to you because I couldn't do it. And he getting beat up to the point where his brains is being exposed and shit. Like you got brain is leaking on the ground, my dude, and you still gonna go back and try to do the same shit, knowing that the girls are just waiting for you. Matter of fact, they had one episode where they just beat him up just for the fuck of it. Like dude was in jail already, and they broke into jail to whoop his ass some more. And he was so fucked up. Like I forgot which girl that was. I think that was Blossom. He was so down bad, he actually started crying, and Blossom had a change of heart because of that. I think it was Yeah, it was. I believe it was Blossom. And she had a full ass change of heart because of that. I'm like, bro, so it take for him crying for you to have a change of heart? Not the many beatdowns that y'all giving him, not this man brain leaking onto the goddamn pavement, but a tear. Okay. Anyway, we got other cartoons too. I'm gonna talk about it briefly, but these are gonna be my main four. Let's see. The theme songs. Let's see. Dexter's Laboratory. How would I rank the theme song? Hell, they all bangers, man. You can't even rank the theme songs. Because Ed, Ed and Eddie, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter, Courage. Cow and Chicken had a hell of a theme song, too. That shit went hard. That had a good theme song. Johnny Bravo had a good theme song. Kids Next Door had a good theme song, too. And that's another. Personally, I never really watched Kids Next Door like that, but I know how popular it was. And I've played the games on Cartoon Network website, but there was one episode that I did watch. I believe it was when number one and that little fat girl finally got married or some shit, or they finally started dating or something like that. And I know it was something involving those little weird kids from down the way. I forgot exactly what they called them, but those weird kids that were monotone and always talk in perfect unison. Yeah, that shit was crazy. Let's see. And we got some of the shows that were wild for kids TV. Well, obviously all of them were wild as hell. Let's see. Oh yeah, y'all got the phone for the notes. Got to keep myself on track. I should have said that at the beginning. I'm tripping. Let's see. We talked about the theme songs. We talked about the villains. Well, we touched on the villains. Shit. How the hell could I forget about him? How could I forget about him? What the hell was this even? Like, what was his purpose? That dude there, he just showed up and he was so like he reminds me of Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh in a way. Like he was just devious. Like you could tell like was he really that evil? But yeah, he kind of was evil. He was oh man. Then we got the red guy from Cow and Chicken too. Ass always out. That part I never understood, but I always thought it was funny. And you could have a devil with his ass out, like fully naked with the ass out. And the ass was drawn too. Like that. I always thought that was funny. I ain't gonna lie. So, for my viewers in here, I'm gonna ask y'all a question before I move on, and I want y'all to comment. Who was your favorite Cartoon Network villain? And it doesn't have to be anybody in the shows that I mentioned. It can be anybody in any show that you watch. It don't even have to be from the 90s or 2000s. I want to know what are you guys' favorite villain? And while y'all answer that, I'm gonna move on to my next topic. But I want to put y'all answers in the comments because I'm gonna revisit that. But for now, let's go ahead and fast forward to the nighttime with Toonami. Toonami was the opening for a lot of us, admittedly, to anime. Believe it or not, that's when I started watching anime. Toonami, whether it was Dragon Ball Z, I think it was a Gundam show that came on all the time. Sailor Moon always came on, and Yu Yu Hakusho. That was the biggest four: Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, Yu Yu Hakusho, Sailor Moon. I still watch Sailor Moon to the matter of fact. I actually started Sailor Moon over so I can kind of revisit it because I haven't seen it in so long, so I don't really know exactly what happened. But when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, shit, I was watching that shit every night. And then at one point in time, they started playing Dragon Ball Z Uncut, which was it really uncut? I mean, yeah, they showed blood finally. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Sailor Moon, like I said, Gundam Wing, Yu Yu Hakusho. That man, that was a special time as well because motherfuckers used to stay up late to watch Toonami. Like I would stay up late to watch Toonami. Oh, and Inuyasha too. Inuyasha was another one that came on. That theme song used to wake me up in the middle of the night. Not theme song, the ending where it was sometimes it would be My Will by Do As Infinity. No, not Do As Infinity. I'm sorry. I forgot who sings that. Maybe it was. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and check that real quick. But while I'm checking that, y'all, again, let me know y'all favorite cartoon villains in the comments because I want to get interactive with y'all for this one. We gotta bring it in, you know? Okay, so My Will was by Dream. That was the very first episode, not episode, very first season ending wise. And if it wasn't that one, it was Fukai Mori by Do As Infinity. If y'all haven't heard these songs, I recommend go and listen to them because them shits are the shit. And then they also had The only one I didn't really care for was I forgot what it's called, but they had Dearest. That's a good one. Every Heart by BOA was a good one, and my favorite by Doings Infinity, Shinjitsu no Utua. It's hard as hell to pronounce, but give these things a listen to. If you got Apple Music, search for Inuyasha endings. There's a playlist with them on there. Give that shit a listen to, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it's especially if you into like K-pop and J-pop and things like that. Yeah, you're gonna like them. All right, let's see. Sammy says Plankton from SpongeBob. Yeah, Plankton from SpongeBob. The motherfucker never did get that. Did he ever get that Krabby Patty recipe that he wanted so bad? Nah, I don't think he did. I think they still playing episodes of SpongeBob too, and that, to this day, this motherfucker still has not gotten that recipe. When the hell will he get it? I don't think he will get it. Let's move on to something I hope you really like. And if you did not catch that, that is from Rocky and Bullwinkle from the 1950s. Now that's some throwback for your ass. But let's talk about some Cartoon Network crossovers. Well, I'm at 25 minutes already, 26 minutes, so I ain't gonna be too much longer. Talk about some cartoon crossovers, some ones that we might want to see. Now I know we've had crossovers between. I know the Powerpuff Girls had a crossover with somebody. They've done crossovers many times. I know the Powerpuff Girls had one. I know Kids Next Door had one. I want to say it was it with the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? I think it was. But in any case, I'm not gonna dwell on that because it's. Let me know if I'm wrong, y'all. For real, for real. Some Cartoon Network crossovers I wouldn't mind seeing. Honestly, hell, we could do Ed, and Eddie and goddamn Dexter for all I care. This Ed just like, oh, you're smart and this and that, and Dexter's looking at him like, okay. Then on the flip side, Dexter and Double D, they might make a dynamic duo. Honestly, Eddie on the other hand, yeah, I don't know. I could see Dee Dee and Ed maybe getting into it or maybe getting close. As far as Eddie is concerned, I can't see him and Mandog really man, what's that word? I can't really see them breaking anything off like talking about it. Uh ugh. Let's see, other then at the same time, hell, if the parents get involved, we have yet to see any of the kids' parents, but we know Dexter and Dee Dee's mom and dad. I don't know. That would be interesting as hell. And let's see, maybe the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy and maybe the Powerpuff Girls? Buttercup and Mandy getting into it? That would be hilarious. I ain't gonna lie. Them two would they stay going at it because neither one of them. Mandy is a fucking stubborn ass. Buttercup is aggressive. Buttercup ain't taking that shit laying down, and neither is Mandy. So yeah, they gonna be going at it consistently. I can't really think of any. Maybe Dexter and Samurai Jack. No, I don't think that would really. Maybe Powerpuff Girls and Samurai Jack. I can see that maybe because they're both crime fighters. Just some wacky shit. I don't know. Courage wouldn't really mesh well with anybody, in my opinion. I don't know because he lives so far away from civilization. It's crazy. I don't know. Maybe not. Uh, but Cartoon Network crossovers, that can be subjective. We can talk about that all day, but I'm not going to talk about it too much more. I'm going to move on to a couple of cartoons that I would like to see make a return, and I'm explaining that in a second. And then I'll finish off with some characters that I can see maybe getting a spinoff. So, other than the aforementioned four, my favorites, because Pop-Up Girls already had a reboot. It sucked ass. I know they were talking about working on an Ed, Edd n Eddy reboot. I'm glad that that shit was scrapped because that shit probably would have sucked ass. Even season 5 of Ed, Edd n Eddy I didn't like because it just felt so different from the first 4 seasons, which was really supposed to end at season 4. I forgot the name of the episode, but it was the one where the 3 guys they did the career day, and then Eddie got knocked on his head and he got knocked out, and he wakes up and all 3 of them are like old and decrepit and ancient, like that bit type shit. That was really supposed to be the last episode. There's another, I guess there's a deleted scene where I think you could look this up on YouTube too, where Eddie woke back up. Like he woke up being old and then he went back to being young. Then he woke up again. And then in this particular scene, it's a deleted scene. Again, y'all can look that up on YouTube where he was like, well, okay, that's enough jokes, Antonucci. Basically talking to the, Danny Antonucci, the creator of Ed, and Eddie. And nope, nothing happened. And it, like I said, it was supposed to be the end. And you can really tell that it was supposed to be the end because, like I said, once season 5 came around, like the art style was just so much different. They switched from the traditional drawing to like I think CG. No, it wasn't CGI. Some new animation art style that a lot of the cartoons were doing, and it really shows. Like I didn't really care for it. And then all of a sudden, now the boys are in school. Like the first 4 seasons, there was no mention of any schooling or education. All of a sudden, now they're in school. Like I get what they were trying to do. Had they stuck to the original art style, I think it would have been better. But that new art style, it just throws me off. But I would love to see Ed and Eddie make a return with the original art style, though, with the original everything intact. But I don't think Antonucci's gonna do that anymore. Is he still a? I don't know. I'm not gonna even ask that. Like I said, Pop Up Girls, they've already had a reboot. I didn't care for it. Dexter, I can see that happening, but shit is just so advanced nowadays, and we're so far gone from the old animation styles. It's just, I mean, hell, motherfucker could wish though. You know what I'm saying? And I wish it would come back the way it was before. I wish I could wake up on Saturday mornings to goddamn X-Men or Yu-Gi-Oh playing on 4Kids, shit like that. But now it's like you have to stream everything. And just recently, everything was on Max, but they just took everything off for whatever reason. Now it's like some of these cartoons you can't even watch no more unless you got the DVDs. Like Courage the Cowardly Dog, it's not on any streaming services. Well, any legal streaming services. You have to get the DVD unless you go the other route, which I'm not gonna say, unless you go the other route, and then hell, you might be good. But other than that, a couple of shows other than what I've been talking about, I wouldn't mind Johnny Bravo getting a redo. Uh, just for the love of God, please don't put that dancing dude in there though, because he was funny when he did his Johnny Bravo thing for Halloween, but he just kept doing it. He don't do it anymore now that I see, but he played it. He played it out very quickly, and not no live action shit either. Please, guys, like when I say cartoon, I mean cartoons. I don't mean no live action shit or no. Y'all know what I'm saying. Bring it back the way it was before. As far as that, oh yeah, feel free, y'all drop what y'all would like to see in the comments too. Any shows that y'all would like to see make a return or anything, or hell, just whatever you want to say. I'm all for it. As far as other cartoons, I mean, obviously the ones that I mentioned before. Uh, that's really it, honestly. We got Tom and Jerry, but Tom and Jerry's had like 20 reboots and 20 different goddamn shows. They've had Tom and Jerry Kids, the Tom and Jerry show. Then they had a reboot of Tom and Jerry. Like they've had a lot. I would say Scooby Doo, but a pup named Scooby Doo was my shit though. I will say that. But other than that, Scooby Doo's had a couple of reboots too. Scooby Doo, Where Are You? They've had like 10,000 movies. Maybe not them. You know what, y'all? Yeah, let's move on to our last topic of the day, characters that deserve their own spinoff. Now, when we say spinoff, let's take a certain character of that particular cartoon and do like a prequel or a sequel to that. So let's say maybe a Ed and Eddie when they're grown up. Not old, but grown up. That can be a nice sequel. I mean, hell, the kids are all grown. They might have their own kids. Shit, Rolf probably finally made it back to his village. Sarah is probably still a bitch, to be honest with you. She's probably still gonna be the same Sarah, just older. Kevin probably has a car now instead of riding that bike that he always does. Johnny 2x4 probably wouldn't ditch Plank, but he probably have a swollen type. Plank would probably be very dirty. It's probably swollen, split, because I mean, it's wood. Wood don't last that long, especially. I mean, wood lasts, but if it's constantly surrounded by elements of nature, it's not gonna last long unless he gets Plank treated. Now, if he gets him treated, that might be different. Or if he gives Plank a coat of stain with some polyurethane to make him shine, that that will increase his lifespan. Let's see who else is there. I already say Ralph, Sarah, Kevin, the guys, Johnny, the Kanker sisters. How the hell did I forget about them? Probably gonna end up marrying the Eds. Let's just be honest. I mean, hell, they're the only ones that really actually like the Eds. So yeah, they'll probably be married like they said they would be, and then have their kids, whatever. Let's see. Maybe a Courage the Cowardly Dog prequel because we've seen his backstory, but we don't really know too much about it. We know that he was abandoned, but if I'm not mistaken, I think his parents were kidnapped or something like that. I gotta watch that episode again, but in any case, he doesn't have his parents. He only has Muriel and Eustace. Maybe they could have something to where if they do a prequel, how he ended up in this situation, or if they do a sequel, obviously Muriel and Eustace probably aren't around anymore. He's probably older now, probably has his own puppies now. There's many ways they can go about that. If they do a Kids Next Door spinoff, I mean, you can do a spinoff based on number five. You can really do a spinoff based on all of them. Really do their own spinoffs, or you can bring them all back together where they're just older. They're teenagers now, or they're adults now, and maybe they're against the Kids Next Door type shit. That would be interesting. I think it'd definitely be a curveball for sure. And last one, maybe Johnny Bravo. Man, Johnny Bravo in the modern dating scene, he would probably get locked up. To be honest, he would probably get locked up because that motherfucker was definitely aggressive when it came to hollering at the chicks. I will give him that. But he was consistent though. He was consistent and he was persuasive, and he never gave up. But man, yo, when we looking back at it, we had it so good back in the day with these cartoons. I mean, not knocking any of the cartoons of today, like Regular Show and Gumball and Adventure Time, and they got Craig of the Creek, We Bare Bears, different cartoons, Teen Titans Go, different cartoons like that. They're still, of course, they still hold their weight, but man, he's in early 2000s. That's when we had it the best. You could say maybe the 1980s, 70s, 60s, 50s, whatever, because I know some of these cartoons came out earlier than the 19. Like I said, Rocky and Bullwinkle, that was the 1950s. I believe Tom and Jerry was the 1960s. Then you got Flintstones and the Jetsons and Josie and the Pussycats. Hell, you got I say Tom and Jerry already. Rocky and Bullwinkle. Hell, Ren and Stimpy, you had them. Man, there was just so many cartoons we could choose from. Like we had it so good back in the day. But now it's like it's a dime a dozen. They're on streaming platforms, but they're constantly being taken off, one by one. You can't find them no more. You have to either order them via DVD or again watch them the other way. It's just we had it so good back then. Now it's like we don't really. It's slowly but surely fading away, and I hope it never fades away. I hope we have these cartoons well until we hell until we're dead in the ground, honestly, and then even after that, because I would love for my daughter to grow up watching the shit that we watched. Not to say that she has to. She can watch whatever she wants to watch cartoon wise, but this is where it was at. I mean, this is what mom and dad grew up on. You know what I'm saying? This is what we this was our version of whatever the fuck y'all watch nowadays, Love Island or Love and Hip Hop, whatever that stupid shit y'all watch. This was my version of that. Watching three kids try to scam their way out of everything. You got Eddie, who's the brains behind it. Well, no, the mastermind behind it. You got Ed, who's obviously the strong yet not very fast Braun. And when I say fast, I mean like, yeah, not the R word, but kind of slow. He was dumb, basically. Then you got Double D, who was the brains of the operation, the one that was trying to always play peacemaker and whoop de whoop. But alas, this is just what it is. But I ain't gonna take up too much of y'all time. I hope y'all enjoyed that episode, and I will catch y'all next time. I'm gonna watch me some cartoons.